You are not behind in life. Stop measuring your journey with someone else's timeline. Have you ever looked at someone else's life and you felt like your life is not moving fast enough? You open Instagram and someone is announcing their engagement. Someone just bought a house. Someone is traveling. Someone's business is doing incredibly well. Someone is having a baby. Someone just bought a new car. Someone just got the job you have been praying for. And you are genuinely happy for them. But somewhere inside you, there is this tiny voice saying, what about me? Am I behind? Am I doing badly? Should I be further than this? Why is it that I'm not progressing? Why does it seem like everyone is moving except me? If you have ever felt that way, I want you to listen to this episode very carefully. You are not necessarily behind. You may simply be in a different season. Welcome to today's episode, and this is a space where we talk about everything about becoming better, living intentionally, and learning how to flourish in every areas of our lives. And today we're talking about something I think so many people need to hear. You are not behind in life. You don't have to live on someone else's timeline. One of the easiest ways to become unhappy with your own life is to start measuring it with someone else's ruler. You see someone else's results and forget that you don't know their entire story. You don't know when they started. You don't know what they have sacrificed. You don't even know what they had to overcome. You don't know what they prayed for privately. You don't even know whether what they have is what you actually need at this stage of your life. But because you see their results, you start questioning your own progress. And that is where comparison becomes dangerous. Even the Bible says those who compare themselves with others are not wise. Because suddenly you are no longer asking, am I growing? You are asking, am I going as fast as her? You are no longer asking, am I making progress? You are asking, why isn't my progress looking like his? And those are completely different questions. Remember, life is not a race with one finish line. We are never all given the same timeline. Some people discover their purpose early. Others take years. Some people build successful business in their 20s. Others build theirs in their 40s. Some people get married young, some later. Some people become financially stable very early, and others have to rebuild their finances more than once. Some people seem to have everything together at 25, and some people are still figuring themselves out at 35. That doesn't automatically mean one person is winning and the other one is losing. Life is in a school examination where everyone is supposed to finish at the same time. Please think about this. There are different seasons, and sometimes the season you are in isn't about showing results. Sometimes it's about preparation. Sometimes it's healing. Sometimes it's learning. Sometimes it's building your character. Sometimes it's starting again. And honestly, starting again can feel incredibly frustrating because nobody claps for you at your rebuilding stage. People celebrate the finished house. They don't always see the years of laying the foundations, but the foundation still matters. And another important thing, stop turning people's good news into bad news about yourself. This is something we need to talk about. Someone else's blessing is not proof that you have been forgotten. Someone else's success is not evidence that you are failing. Someone else's relationship doesn't mean you are an unlovable person. Someone else's business growth doesn't mean you are not growing or going somewhere. Someone else's answered prayer doesn't mean God skipped your name. You can genuinely celebrate people and still desire something for yourself. Both things can exist at the same time. You can say, I am so happy for you, and also say, I am trusting you, God, for my own season. That is maturity, because sometimes we don't actually envy the person. We envy the timing. We wonder, why them now? Why hasn't it happened for me yet? But your life is not late because someone else's life is early. read that again in your mind. Your life is not late because someone else's life is early. But what if you are actually stuck? Now, I don't want to use this as an excuse for responsibility and say you are behind. Sometimes we genuinely are stuck. Sometimes we are procrastinating, we're afraid. Sometimes we know what we should be doing, but we keep postponing it. Sometimes we are waiting for motivation when what we actually need is discipline. And if that is you, don't shame yourself. Be honest with yourself. Ask, what is that area of my life that I know I need to take responsibility for? Maybe it's your finance, maybe it's your health, it's your spiritual life, or even your career or your relationship. It could be what you have been dreaming about for years, but you haven't taken the first serious step. See, you don't have to fix your entire life tonight. Just start moving. One decision, one habit, one conversation, one application, one prayer, one uncomfortable step. Progress doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes progress look like quietly doing the thing you said you were going to do. Your current season doesn't define your entire story. Please do not make permanent conclusion about your life on a temporary season. Just because you are struggling financially right now doesn't mean you are always going to struggle. You just need to stop any confusion right now and focus. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it never will. And just because your life doesn't look like what you imagined it to be at this age, it doesn't mean your story is ruined. Sometimes life takes turns we didn't plan for. Sometimes we have to start over again. And sometimes we lose things, plans change, and sometimes the life we actually build looks completely different from the life we originally imagined. And that doesn't mean it is a lesser life. It may simply be a different one.